And we're live.
Hello to our viewers out there. The time is now 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. I am Renee. And Maria,
I'm Maria.
this is so weird. So if we have any hiccups, please just, don't judge us. Don't call us mean names and stuff like that. Because, this is our first time doing a live show. So we're so excited, especially for those who are tuning in and who's paying attention to the show. Thank you so much. All right. So let's get started.
Before we get started, let me just go back and say something really quickly. I realize this is YouTube, and some of you guys, although despite the message that Renee just said, you're going to say mean things, you're going to, just do stuff because that's just how people are. And honestly, I don't care, but for the sake of just being an adult, just, remember that. So don't bring drama for uh, an unnecessary reason.
Right.
Okay, I'm done.
Exactly. All right. So we wanted. Oh, this is so strange. All right. So recently in the news, there are a lot of things going on right now. So I really don't even know where to start from. But I want to start talking about Carmelo Anthony and Lala. This week's episode is titled Retrograde. And so, retrograde,
Right.
what that means is to go back. And, a lot of things are starting to go back. A lot of things are going haywire. People are breaking up left and right. So, we just wanted to make sure we talk about that throughout the show. But talking about breakups, Carmelo Anthony and Lala uh, recently separated. Well, they've already been separated. And they went to court to sign off their divorce, which is so sad because when you think of those two, you think of them as a power couple. I remember
Right.
when they had that VH1 TV show and they did their wedding for them. So it was actually really sad to see that, that they're no longer together and they were once married. So what's your take on this, Maria?
It's interesting because I think it's just weird that somehow entertainers. Everyone cheats, right? But it's just like theirs get publicized, so you get to just weigh in on it.
Right.
And so it's just like, why? I'm a person that I don't understand cheating. Like, if you don't want to be in that relationship, leave that
Exactly.
relationship. Like,
Exactly.
why stay in a relationship that you don't want to be in and you're playing with someone's heart? And men say things like, "Oh, but I love her. I love my wife." But sometimes things just get bored, and I want to go outside the relationship. Oh, and that's a valid excuse? Like, no. If
Right.
something is bored, then you need to go in with your wife, have that conversation, and talk about ways to spice things up, to bring
Exactly.
life back into your relationship if you love her, quote unquote. But if you're just going to be cheating, because I don't even know if this is like the first time that he's cheating, because it's not like we're in
It's
public.
not. It's not. Actually, it's been reported that he said, what did he say? He said that she's in a marriage. I'm not. And it's like, whoa, hold on.
Whoa!
She's in a marriage, you not. But I
What?
thought, I thought y'all was married. I thought a marriage was the union of two people. But it's not, I guess, in Carmelo Anthony's case.
You know what? That's disgusting because you knew what this was. You asked her to marry you. You joined this union with her. All your families watched, and etc. But it
Exactly.
even makes me think about him saying, "Oh, I'm not in this marriage, and she's just in this marriage." Makes me think about Ti saying, "Oh, that
Oh,
whole marriage is a distraction thing for me," and it's like, "Oh, now it's a distraction for you because, baby,
it
when you
wasn't
met
a distraction when she was there for you, when you were going in prison. I mean, going to prison when she had your kids and she was raising kids that aren't even hers along with yours. It wasn't a distraction
her,
then. But
exactly,
for some reason, it's a distraction. It's just like, are you serious? It's, oh my, I remember that. And I was just like, when I saw that, I was so burnt up because everybody was just like, well, why is everyone upset? I'm like, he called that woman,
a
his wife,
distraction.
a
A dis-
distraction. She's distracting him for some reson. don't call me. But yeah, oh my gosh, it's crazy that you brought that up because I remember that. I was just like, how dare you, you know?
Right.
How dare
And
you
the thing
say
is,
something
she became a felon. Like, she went to jail, my dude. She
for
went to
him.
jail for you. And the
Right.
thing, what people don't realize, or what they just like want to like block out of their minds, is that Tiny Ben had money. Like, T.I. didn't make her. When she met T.I., he was an upcoming rapper. Okay?
Exactly.
He lived with her. It wasn't the other way around. And so it's like, now that you're here, you're like here now.
Right.
I'm a distraction now. That's ridiculous to me. It makes absolutely no sense. I think, I don't know. But marriage is something that should be taken serious. Like, it's not a joke. So don't just say, oh, I want to get married because everybody else getting married. I want to get married for social media so I can get so many likes on my
right, bagels and all this crazy madness. Like, why are people even paying attention to that? And I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I get trapped up in that too. Like, when I was in a relationship, there was some expectations that I held. Like, oh, you know, we should take more pictures. We should, you know, oh, put this on the gram. You know, put me on my Snapchat. But I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. But that's a whole nother conversation.
It is. But I just had to say that about them. But what do you stand on the situation? What do you think about the situation?
With Carmelo Anthony and Lala, I think Carmelo was so disrespectful for saying that she's married and I'm not.
Yeah.
The icing on the cake was him getting the girl pregnant. Like,
I know
that, and it's just like, because everybody was like, you know, I guess he's been cheating. And that is extreme for you to then, you've already been cheating. You're already out here being promiscuous with other women, exactly. Blah, blah, blah. Then you have nerve to get one of these 304s pregnant or 403, however you go, however the quote go. You have the nerve to get women pregnant. It's just like, how that is that's so disrespectful. And it's just like, why would you even stay in a relationship? And Carmelo, bro, don't act like you the world's greatest basketball player right now. Exactly. I'm not even gonna get to statistics. Y'all can go follow our brother podcast, JNOP, for all that basketball talk. Exactly. But all I know is he is not the greatest basketball player, and for him to play his wife like that, that's just crazy. It's so crazy. And it's funny because everyone's looking at, you know, LeBron James and his wife, Savannah, their relationship like,
LeBron? You guys are
LeBron ain't cheated on his wife.
I know, but they're looking at him that way. Because all his friends has cheated on that.
Exactly. So it's just like, hold on. Is it the same predicament for you and your wife? Or, you know, she's married, you're not? Like, it is interesting because I love their relationship. Yeah, I love their, like, I just love their family. You know, their kids are so beautiful and everything. So, I mean, it'd be sad to see them break up. You know, tragic. That's just like if Jay-Z and Beyonce broke up. I'd probably be crying. I'd be in my room like, I don't believe in love. So, but it is extremely sad to see Tiny and T.I. breaking up, and extremely sad to see Carmelo Anthony and Lala departing ways. So, sad. It's very sad. But I think all of this comes with the retrograde. So the retrograde that we're talking about is with, right now, Mercury and Saturn are both in retrograde. And I know some people who probably looking like,
what the hell are you
exactly. Going somewhere with all that astrology stuff. Sorry about that. I don't often, you know, pay attention to astrology, or I don't pay attention to my horoscope or different things like that. But I have gotten into the retrograde, and we'll talk about that later on when we dive deep in it. But I want to mention it now because within the retrograde, they say, you know, a lot of things, communication is supposed to go right, relationship issues, your finances are supposed to go crazy. There are a certain amount of things that start to go back or start to go in haywire, especially during Mercury's retrograde. And so we've had like back-to-back planet retrograde. Venus was in retrograde. Now Mercury went in retrograde, and then Saturn is also in retrograde now. And then I think Pluto, no, I don't know if it's Pluto. Another planet is supposed to join the retrograde a little later in May. It's supposed to run all the way to August. So it's crazy. It's a lot of craziness going on. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the planets appearing to move in an opposite direction, because they don't actually move in a different direction, but during a retrograde they seem to look like that. But something else that's crazy, that's still kind of sports related, is with Aaron Hernandez. We know that Aaron Hernandez back in 2012, he murdered this, I think it was one person, and in 2003 he murdered two other people. I forgot what it was about, because I forget, like, I think it was like at the club somebody did something and he was basically like, I cap you, however it went. I'm not too sure, but I mean, he was on some gangster stuff. And so I guess for the trial in 2012 he was found not guilty, but then in the double murder that happened, he was found guilty, and I want to say like a day later, 3 days later, he hung himself in his prison cell. So that's extreme. Yeah. That. So what's your take on it, Maria? We'll start off with you first. So.
I really don't know how to feel about that situation, especially when you read about the details of how he committed suicide and how he made it almost impossible for himself to escape it. Like they said, he put lotion or something near his floor, so if he tried to back out of it, he would just slip and continuously choking until he, of course, died. Right. And so it's what in a person's mind? One, I think is crazy. And it was some other things that's been happening that's kind of crazy that's going on. And so I don't really know how to feel, honestly. I think it's crazy. I think it's sad. And it doesn't make sense. Well, because you murdered someone, you already killed a person.
And he was gangster about it too. He wasn't on no I accidentally killed these people. It was kind of come see about me type killings.
Right. And so it's what in your mind made you think that prison wasn't where you were headed?
Right.
What? I don't understand. So maybe his, I don't know. What do you think about it? It's really weird to me, honestly. And then they said his family was in there when they sentenced him, and they were just going crazy, right, crying and etc. Yeah. But it's dude, you have already killed a person before. Did he do jail time for that? The first person he killed?
I mean, it is still sad though that he committed suicide. That
it is sad. It's sad, but did he not kill a person before he killed those two people?
I mean, it's sad he's supposed to kill three, but I don't know.
It's sad. Suicide in itself is really sad, because it means you give up on the chance that life can be better. And I just don't see anyone that's spiritual or religious in any way. And I'm not saying he was, because I don't know his situation. But committing suicide, because it means whoever you believe in, you don't believe that they can bring you through whatever you're going through at that time. And so,
well, the conspiracists out here are saying
they always come.
And I don't know if this is true. I haven't done any fact checks or anything right now, so I could be giving full-fledged alternative facts. But the conspiracists are saying that the reason why he killed himself was so that I guess this bonus that he was supposed to get from the New England Patriots
will go to his family.
He will still get it, and that money will go to his daughter. But it just has me thinking, because I'm just I don't know. I don't know what his contract was. I don't know what he was contracted to. I don't know all the background the details of that. But we're talking about murders that happened back. One in 2012, one in 2013. It's 2017. So the latest murder was 4 years ago. So that's like I said, I don't know how the contract works. It's a little hard for time reasons. It's hard for me to no, never mind. I just thought about it. So the reason why she would get the money, I guess because he never officially served jail time. So because he doesn't officially serve jail time and he kills himself, his money would go to his daughter. But if he would have served the jail time, he would have got no money, and I guess he would have just rotted in prison. So now that I think about that, that does make just a little bit more sense. But then I'm just well, they could have, got rid of the contract once he went to prison. I mean, or once he was on trial. Well, never mind. I guess I'm all jumbled up because it is. I mean, it's a conspiracy. Yeah, exactly. It's a conspiracy that has yet to be confirmed. So look, don't be like, oh, Renee was telling us on the adult tea that blah blah blah. Like, nah. Right now, I'm just an amateur podcast person. Okay, so please give me my proper respect. I can make mistakes. So
I don't know. It's weird. And those conspiracies are always so weird. And sometimes you can find a little truth in them, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want to go into it on here, basically. Right now, not at this moment, right now. I feel like that's a different conversation. But in the sense that things definitely went backwards for him. I mean, you killed the person, supposedly. I don't know if he was tried for that or whatever, convicted for the first person that he's
he was murdered. He was serving. I thought he was serving a life sentence. That's why I'm like. That's why I'm so confused about all the details of the incident and the conspiracy that's going on. Because I'm like, he was already found guilty once, and then he was connected to these 2013 murders, and he was found not guilty for that. Like, how does this whole contract thing gonna happen? Because he was still serving prison time. So I don't know. Ooh. Things fly around like haywire on the web. People just say and do anything. So
it doesn't even have to be true. It's just what they do. But let's go ahead on. Let's go ahead on to your president, girl.
That's not my president. Especially talking about things that are in retrograde. Homeboy dropping bombs.
Oh man.
Did you saw when the New England Patriots went to see him?
Oh yeah.
So
didn't go to see him. Went to see him.
But it's so funny because New York Times compared it to the inauguration.
I saw that.
And of course, Donald Trump and Sean Spicer had to be like, oh no, they're giving out false they're not giving it in the full way that it's presented. He was saying that, I guess, well, and no, it wasn't even just him. I guess the New England Patriots had to come on, try to do live for him. And was just like, we didn't have all the players, and some of the staff member were down, and that we didn't have it. It was a bunch of crazy stuff, but it was still like a lot more players up there with President Obama than there was with Donald Trump. So, what? Like, that was so, it was a bunch of craziness. And then even with the helmet, he can't explain that though. Everything else, you could try to talk about, all the staff members were in the picture when Obama was around, but why y'all put the staff members down in the lawn and not up at the front with everyone else? Like, why didn't you do that? Like, because people don't like him. But anyways, but the helmet either, he got an empty helmet. He had no signatures on his helmet. So what excuse do y'all have for that? No,
exactly. No,
that's not our president. That man is crazy. That man is legit crazy. And I was reading, I was reading somewhere talking about Yale researchers have, I guess, hard evidence that he's suffering from some type of mental disorder. And
I saw that.
He needs to not be president of the United States of America. But then it makes you think, okay, if he's not president, then Pence will be president.
And you surely do not want him to be the president.
Where I live, they have signs. I mean, Pence used to be the governor of the state of Indiana, and I live in Indiana, and there are all kind of signs around that say Pence must go, Pence this, Pence that. So I'm just like, look, if people are out here putting signs like that about a governor, then just imagine if he becomes president. But you know what happened? So did you watch the latest episode of Scandal? The one that just happened last week.
I did watch Scandal.
You did. Okay, so I'm so glad because Maria has, for anyone who does not know, Maria, was it you? I don't know. It was somebody who got me onto Scandal.
No, you got me onto Scandal, so it wasn't me.
Okay, so my best friend got me onto Scandal. I got Maria on to Scandal, and so we used to watch it all the time. But then she fell off and she stopped watching it, so I had to get her caught up on everything. But for those who do watch it, this is a spoiler alert. But well, it may be a spoiler alert. I may be able to, still keep it a mystery what happened in this past episode. But I kind of think, because you know how Shonda Rhimes always has a way to relate what's going on in the real world on the show. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to think that Donald Trump may be Melly Grant. I know it's extreme.
I hope not, because we all saw what was behind.
Exactly, but that's the thing. I think the person who's behind it is Pence, because Donald Trump, before we found out all these crazy things, people did kind of look up to him. I will give him credit for that. They looked at him as a businessman. They looked up to him
as a businessman, yes.
For and even beforehand, like back in the 90s and the 80s, he was a Democrat. He did believe in those things. Give this man just a little bit of respect. But he was a believer in these things. And so since he was a believer in these things, and it changed, well, it kind of changed when Obama became president. But I think Pence is that, because Pence is like for, it's a list of things. Like, he's not for Planned Parenthood. He's not for abortion. He's not for civil rights. He's not for gay rights. It's like a list of things. Like, I think there was, oh my gosh, he signed off for something that would like allow prisoners to do something. I forgot what it was. It was some crazy madness. But it's like, who's really the evil one in this situation? Is it Trump? Or is it Pence? So I don't know.
I know it's ridiculous. And I don't know. I think people need to come together more. Like, again, like we always talk about in this show, what happens there. You need to be involved, whether you believe in voting or not, whether you believe in policies or whatever. Politicians are just puppets. But the things that they do, the bills that they pass are real. And they really affect you. So you need to be out there making sure you know what's going on, what's being passed, what's being discussed. You need to make sure that you're doing whatever you can do to make sure things are in your best interest as a freaking citizen of this country.
Right.
Because some of that stuff that they tried to pass, things that he tried to pass that didn't make it, it's just like, wow, you're crazy. This is crazy. And I don't know if that's really him on his Twitter, because some of the things that he tweets are like, wait, are you the president of the United States of America or what?
And I guess he's trying to find a way to relate with the millennials.
Baby, that ain't the way.
That ain't the way. That ain't the way.
That's not the way.
Now, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, she done found a way, okay? Because she stands for us. She's a firm believer in our rights. That's my girl. That's my girl. That's my auntie.
I like Maxine Waters,
but yeah, I mean, everything is just so crazy, including the breakups, the president that we have.
Exactly.
Everything that is
literally, you know what you just made me think about, though? The president that we have and things that he are enforcing and things that he so-called stand for, literally seem like we're moving backwards. In a sense,
we literally are. We're moving backwards.
So
we are.
Be watching. Open your third eye, okay?
See all the stars and the planets in the sky. Like, pay attention to that, because it is extremely important. But just continuing to talk about the retrograde, we're gonna move into that for our human psych topic. Just diving more into that, talking. I know I may do a little bit of a personal talk about how the retrograde is affecting my life, but we are moving backwards. We are moving backwards as the United States.
Yeah.
Some of the things that our politicians, excuse me, think are excuse me again, think that is necessary for us. It's just not. It's not. So, but so Maria, do you want to start off with your retrograde? Uh,
I don't know.
or
Possibly.
you don't know? You don't know.
I was talk about it only because when Renee actually brought this whole thing,
I
to my
did.
attention, because I was telling her earlier. I mean, like earlier in the week, that I would see people talk about like the planets and the stars and retrograde or whatever, and I would just be like, these people are like crazy. Okay, you're going too far. But
A little looped out.
when you really look at it and read the information and see how it parallels to things that are really truly going on in your life, it's like, okay, wait, maybe there is some truth to this. I mean, the universe exists. We can't act
Right.
like it doesn't exist. And just like there's an animal kingdom, etc., blah, 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 I do believe there's a spiritual world here with us on Earth. I mean, it exists. Things happen and you can't explain them. But going back about Mercury being in retrograde and it being associated with communication. So I went back and I read an article about it actually like yesterday because I lost my phone Friday. Very pissed off. Still so bad. And I can't find my iPhone because it's freaking dead. So if anyone knows how I can find my iPhone while it's dead, please let me know in the comments or any of our other social media platforms.
Right.
But it was saying, since Mercury is in retrograde and it's about communication and it was about something else, that you want to keep a close eye on, the first thing they listed, your phone. And what did I lose? My phone.
Your phone. Oh my God.
I never lose my phone, people. I never lose my phone, ever. And so it was super weird. But it's just other things. And again, the reason why I think there's truth in this stuff, some truths. Because it's real. The galaxy is real. The universe is real. And I remember having a dream, and I won't go into, the whole dream details, but towards the end of the dream, like I was in a place where I was literally above the clouds and just on the outside of the freaking universe, like of the galaxy. I'm not playing, Renee.
I don't think you're playing. I just think it's so funny because like I'm starting to like be into this stuff like that I know people are like watching
and thinking we're crazy.
these witches, like what's wrong with
we're
them?
not witches. But what happened though in that spot, and I remember getting up the next morning, making Facebook statuses and everything about it, because like I reached my hand out and I literally touched the freaking universe. I literally touched it. And when I woke up, I'm seriously in the dream. I know it sounds crazy, but it's fine. You can do that. I felt like a surge of bliss just go through my body. And when I say I woke up the happiest I ever been in my life, I was so freaking happy. And this was actually before the election. And both Trump and Hillary was in my dream. And so it was
that's scary.
It was very weird. But I think it's some truth. What about you, Renee? Since you're snacking right now.
I'm hungry, so excuse me for those watching. I have to eat my grapes. I have to stay healthy. But I brought this up to because okay, so where I work now, I am no longer going to be working there for next year. And that has been like a tailspin itself. Financially, and I don't want to dive deep into my finances right now, but it's been rough. So bad. Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. So my finances have been crazy. It seems like every time I turn around, there's always something. That's just like, oh, I will share this personal bit about my light bill. I thought I paid it this month, and I got a mail saying that I don't know, saying something, but now my light bill is at like $200 some odd, and I'm just like, Okay, time to call the light company because y'all have me mixed up with somebody else because it's on my bank account. There has been a transaction made for my light bill. Like I know it, I saw it, I looked at it to double check it. So that's it's just like a continuous battle of having to fight for things right now. Um, School wise, just because I'm still taking grad courses, the workload. I mean, just trying to complete things and trying to have a full time job. That has been insane. Um, but the big ticker was like, okay, so Venus was done with retrograde. I want to say April 5th April 14th or April 15th. I can't think off the top of my head. But I know that Mercury's retrograde started on April 15th. So I was offered a job position. I was offered a job position on Friday. Monday night, when Precious sent me this text message, and I was like, oh, girl, you need to practice and you need to pay attention to the retrograde. All this stuff is going on, rethink about things, just wait and see, what's going on. I saw that face. What's going on and everything. I checked my email and my job offer was retracted. And so I just started to cry because, I thought I was going into this new position, but right as I thought I was going into this new position, it was pulled from me, It was something that's taken away from me. And that's the troubling thing about being an adult. It's so hard with the things that are going on and the inconsistency of things. I Uber on the side because, like I said, my finances are out of control right now. So I was just in an Uber with someone recently, and the lady was about to cry. She was just like, I don't want to cry in your Uber, but she was just like, when one thing happens, another thing happens. When one good thing happens, some other bad things happen. And I'm like, girl, you preaching to the choir right now because this is what I'm experiencing. And it may just be life in general, but I truly think this retrograde is playing an effect on my life because this is kind of what made me start to pay attention from the beginning. So I was in like a relationship for probably almost 2 years now. Almost. Pretty close to 2 years. Not there yet, but almost 2 years. And so last year, around this same period, around this same like retrograde of planets, we stopped talking to each other. And right as we started talking to each other, I started to date this Indian guy, this random Indian guy. He had found me on Facebook. I met him at a gas station. I mean, he was cute. He was cute. Like, don't think don't think I'm just out here being gas station hookup lady because that's not how I work. He was cute. He had a nice car. He had everything going on. So he asked me on a date, and so we went on 1 or 2 dates. That did not last. I ended up going back out with my now ex-boyfriend again. So let's go into this year. So as the retrograde has been going, everything has been getting rocky. Everything's been getting crazy. But like right as Venus's retrograde was ending and Mercury's retrograde was ending, we stopped talking to each other. And I met another Indian guy. Now, this is why this is crazy. Because it's the same month that I was dating the Indian guy before. So in the month of April. I don't get like, I don't get guys, I don't often, let me get my words together. I don't often run into Indian guys that are asking me on dates throughout the year. This is the second time this has happened in the month of April where I like broke up with my boyfriend or whatever and dating an Indian. So like my hope is that at the end of this month we don't get back together because it's crazy. It's so crazy. It's kind of scary. But the Indian guy that I met, he seems really cool. He's going to Ohio State. He's majoring in aerospace engineering. So he has his little life together. But that's the bad thing about the retrograde. They say things don't last, and it's just so crazy. So speaking on things that don't last, he's supposed to be leaving next week. Literally, we just met like this month, or like we met this month, and he's supposed to be leaving, I think, this week or the week after next. I forget what he said. Then he's spending a whole 10 weeks in Texas. And then he may or may not come back to Indiana, because then he may be transported to another place, because he's just interning at Rolls Royce right now. He may be transferred to another place to intern there, and then go back to Ohio State, which is in Columbus, Ohio. So I don't know. Like, this is so crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the cards read. I never really paid attention to that astrology stuff, but I don't know. For anyone who's watching, you can think I'm crazy, but I truly think this retrograde is affecting my life, because that is the craziest, most weirdest thing that has ever happened to me. But I doubt me and my ex will get back together. But just the fact that we were like, every time we break up, I date an Indian guy in the month of April. It's strange. It's strange. It's extremely strange.
And we're not saying, like, we understand that we're all young adults and things happen. And we examine our own actions and what has happened. So we're not saying, oh, everything that is happening to me is because of this. Like,
right,
we say, pay attention to it, because it just may be. For me, I don't lose my phone, people. And I literally got out of my car, walked into my classroom,
I do,
and did not have my phone, which makes no sense. And I'm like, how did I lose my phone from the car to my classroom? It just doesn't make any freaking sense. And my mother was with me at the time, and she was just like, yeah, that's crazy. I literally was on my phone in the car, got out, walked to the classroom, and it was gone. And I examined myself. Like I said, we examine ourselves when things happen. Like, okay, what was my role in this? And I couldn't find any fault in myself. So what the heck? Universe, where is my phone? And can you bring it back to me? I don't want to buy another phone. I just bought that phone. Like, I haven't even had it for 2 months because I broke my other one. So,
all within a retrograde, I'm trying to tell you. No. So just to give some dates, because I don't want to give anything. Right. I don't want to give you anything false. Because like, we're really into this retrograde stuff. Like, no joke. Venus went into retrograde March 4th, and it ended April 15th. So that's when I got that good old email that, oh, you no longer want you. Saturn is in retrograde on April 6th. So that was during the month of April. Saturn went into retrograde, and Mercury, good on Mercury, went into retrograde April 9th. And then Pluto is supposed to go in retrograde the 20th. So now there are 3 planets in retrograde: Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto. Deep breath. But Mercury is the worst one of them all, and that one is supposed to end May 3rd. So if everything starts to like piece back together, if you feel like your life is going crazy right now too, and everything pieces back together, May 3rd, hey, blame it on the retrograde. Blame it on the I tried to put it on there. Blame it on the juice. Got me feeling loose. Blame it on Patron, but it didn't work. But just continuing talking on about the retrograde itself, because I don't want to get too much into astrology, because I'm not no astrology connoisseur. Right. Like, that's just not my thing. It's just that personally, for me, it has sent my life into like a mass sugar honey iced tea storm. Okay, but I don't know. I got 4 other job interviews, and so we'll see by May 3rd if I am employed somewhere else. So, and actually, the one that I had on Saturday, the lady was like, I'm the best person she's interviewed before. And I was like, I'm like, toot my own horn. All right, but anyways, but just some things that you don't want to do during a retrograde. If you're listening to us and like, oh my gosh, like it's really impacting their life. This is something really serious. They one is to put your dating life on hold. So don't go dating. Don't do like me because I'm dating. It may not last. Clearly, it didn't last year. It's not gonna last this year. Um, be more patient with your partner. This is for the people who are breaking up with they bays, they boo. Reconsider. Talk about it. You making faces again, precious. But it does say to be more patient with your partner and to reconsider like your relationship and what's going awry, what's actually happening. Like go over it. You never know. It says don't get married during Mercury's retrograde, which is so crazy because I'm a bridesmaid for my dear friend Australia's wedding this coming Friday. No, this coming Saturday. So, girl, fingers crossed for you. Number 4 says use this time to kiss and make up. So yeah, just kiss and make up. You never know. Maybe the stars it was meant for you to be together. So it was meant for you. And then take a look back and reflect on your life. That's the last thing. Think about that special someone. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so too. But Renee has mentioned some things. So let's talk about as far as your finances, because we always talk finances on Adult Tea because we love our coins. Okay.
Right.
So you definitely don't want to be making any wrong decisions with your money during this time.
Exactly.
And so things like avoiding big purchases, that's something that you don't want to do. Like you don't want to go buy a car right now or a home right now or anything like that.
Right.
If you're someone that plays in the stock market, you might just want to chill right now.
Man,
you might just want to chill. So
right.
It's other things. And this is not like we're telling you, you should be doing this for real right now because this period, like we said, things are getting loopy. But this is things that you should be doing all the time. And that's being conscious with your money and just being aware and cognizant of where your money is going.
Exactly. And that is the big thing about the retrograde in general. Just as Maria said, you have to be cognizant of like what's going on. And that's all the retrograde is teaching you. Is teaching you to really just sit back and think about the decisions that you're making. If you have a budget, sticking to that budget, abiding by that budget, not making unnecessary purchases because especially when you're not sure or how you may pay that off or if you don't have all your bills paid, if you can even afford that. They say, you pay yourself first. That doesn't mean to go shop and do whatever. That means pay yourself as put in your spending and then pay your bills, and then whatever else you have to do after that. That's the order that you should follow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you have to pay attention to during the retrograde.
Yeah, definitely.
Or in general. Life in general. Retrograde, no retrograde.
Yeah.
Do that.
Right. And now that I think about it, the article that I was reading said that when Mercury is in retrograde, communication and traveling is 2 things that you really should be paying attention to. Thankfully, my trip to California went well. I had no issues. But if you're planning a big trip, just be careful.
Right.
Just be careful. And be careful, period. Whether in retrograde or not, like you should be careful, period. Cognizant to things that's going on, even where you're going. Because you may be looking it up and Googling it and like, oh, it looks so beautiful. I'm going to have a great time. But you don't know if it's something else going on in that country or in that city that, just you don't know anything about because you're not actually there.
Exactly.
So you don't want to walk into something. Actually, when I was in Cali, because I kind of went all over California, the Bay Area anyway, and I went to Berkeley. And at the University of Berkeley, they was having this huge Trump rally. Like, people were pissed. And it's like, we don't want him as our president anymore. I mean, they had helicopters everywhere. It was getting crazy. And then people that were Trump supporters ended up showing up at the rally. And it was like kind of this big thing. And I'm like, whoa.
Right. Exactly.
Like, okay. I just kind of walked into that. I didn't know that was going on, that was going to happen. And so, yeah, when you're planning trips, you got to be aware. You got to try. I know no one can plan for the future, but you can try, you know. You can do the best that you can do. And if things happen, then things happen. We adapt and we move on and we deal with it. But
exactly.
Like Renee was saying, and like we've said many times on the show, you really want to make sure that you have a budget, especially during this time, and that you're sticking to your budget. Now, that doesn't mean like, you know, unexpected expenses won't lose your phone. I'm very pissed off. It comes and then again it adjusts, but you know, just plan it out. Adulting isn't easy, okay? It's one day at a time. It's no different from anything else.
Right. Right.
That's all I have to say.
I was about to say, I would just repeat the same thing that you said. Just yeah, you really have to plan out things and to be aware. But sometimes you may think that you are aware, just like with Maria. She thought, you know, with her phone. So
the nerve of you to bring that back up. Oh, it just doesn't make sense. I'm hoping that I'll find it, because what you guys don't understand is literally, I seriously had to control myself, because I was literally ready that day to go out and buy a new phone. And I'm just like, no, just wait, just relax. Just see if it'll come up. Just try to find it. Maybe if someone has it, maybe they'll turn it on and it's in lost mode, and et cetera, et cetera. But it's so hard to be without my phone. It's so hard.
I know the feeling, because retrograde or no retrograde, I'm always losing my crap. Like, literally, like, I am always, anyone that knows me personally knows that, like, I am the queen of lose a phone, break a phone, like, oh my God, I just have to get my little life together. I have to.
But if you have nothing else, do you have anything else to share with them, Renee? Or discuss?
Yeah, I wanted to open up for like a QRA, and I'm at me Q&A, and I don't know why I say QRA, but I'm also trying to get this poll put up on our Twitter page right now about, you know, asking people, do they believe in the retrograde? Do you think that it's real? Because I mean, look at this, like, you know, astrology ain't real. And, you know, parts of it ain't real, but the way it has been impacting my life, I have no choice but to believe that it's the truth. I really think it's, but then they're not even letting me tweet this. I don't know what's going on. Come on, Twitter.
Technical difficulties.
Like legit technical difficulties. I think I know what it's.
But it's crazy. I think it's weird that people say that, because I don't really want to go into it, but I really believe there's a spiritual realm, and that's basically when you're talking about things like that happening, like the world is there. It's not just us,
right?
Is that just this and then that's it? I was reading about people in Japan that actually tree bathe is what they call it, and it's basically when they go out into like the forest and they, you know, kind of relax, nude, laying there in the forest. And they actually did a study, because so many people were saying that this is like not true, this is not a real thing,
right?
But they were saying that it improves their health to do that, which it does. And they found out that the trees actually give off a chemical. I do not know it off the top of my head, so I won't say it. I won't even mention it. So go look it up if you want to know what I'm talking about, or I will post it and link it. below. But it improves health. It really was improving the health of other people. And so it's like we look around the world and we see it one way because we've been conditioned to see it one way. And things that are real to us, we can see it, we can touch it, it's tangible. And
Right.
that's what's real and that's what exists. But there's a whole nother way to see the world that you don't know. If you're not open minded, you'll never see the world in this way. Like you'll never believe in these things. But it's true. It's true. It's true.
Right.
Uh,
I don't know. Part of it is it's truly a great help. I don't know. But they and say in general to just believe in a higher being or believe in a higher spirit, whatever that higher spirit is good for your overall health. It's good for life in this your longevity in life. So it's really good.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I put up the tweet to ask the
Awesome.
people, and I'm getting ready to retweet it on my Twitter page
Awesome.
to see if people believe.
Right. And because we're coming to the end of our show, we're literally like at the end of our show.
Right.
But we
So,
we still want you guys to talk to us. And even not in this setting, if you can't, but on our Instagram page, on our social media pages, our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our website, you can connect with us. You can talk to us. If you want to give out topic suggestions, you can do all of that. You can connect with us. We're not like,
right.
whatever, girl. Like, we're not those type of
Right.
people. We're really both really down to earth. So, what you see and hear on our shows is really us. Like, we're not faking for anyone. So, just know that. Like, this is real. But talk to us. Share your adultity with us. What are you going through as an adult? What are some of your trials and tribulations that you have come through? Because we all know adulting is not easy. Like Renee said, someone got in
Exactly.
her Uber and was literally bawling out because
Like legit was like, oh, I don't want to cry, but then bust
because
some
life
tears in the back of my car. Like,
life life happens, okay? Life happens. It'll happen to you. And some things you may think, oh, that'll never happen to me, will happen to you. And you gotta know how to, or be strong enough at least to bounce back, whether you know or not.
you really do. You really do. Like Big Sean said, last night took an L, but tonight I bounced back. Hey, I've been broken. Let me stop. That's my jam though. But you do. You really have to learn how to bounce back. You have to learn how, and that's like even the girl in the car because she was kind of upset. But clearly she was upset. More upset because like people have been telling her God wouldn't give you anything that you can't handle, and
Right.
I'm like, and I guess she thought I was gonna say that to her, but I told her I was just like, sometimes because I was telling her it's a learning experience. It's getting you prepared for the next step. Like I'm like, all right, yeah, God gonna put things into you, but that ain't what I was about to say. I was about to let me finish what I was gonna say you for the next step. Whatever your next gonna get you out of it, regardless if you like it or not. It's gonna be like, hey, through hell or high water needs to be stopped.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm. I think so much though we see like a lot of obstacles in our way or a lot of things that don't necessarily go the way that we planned it as rejection, but
right,
sometimes that's not even the case. Sometimes that situation that you were headed into was just truly not for you and was probably going to make you more miserable than you think or thought it would. And so
right,
instead of just letting you go through that path, the universe conspires and no, it didn't go the way you thought it would go. But we got something better lined up for you. And that's just the way you got to look at it sometimes.
exactly.
That's the way it is, you know? I mean, even with grad school, when I was applying to some colleges that I didn't necessarily get into, and it was like And I'm thinking of one college in particular. And I didn't get enrolled there as a student. And then I actually had to go there to do some research work because they wanted me to work with them. Like, oh, you didn't enroll me as a student, but you want my skills on this project. Okay, whatever.
Right.
And
Makes
so
sense.
I went there. And although it was a beautiful campus, culturally, it wasn't for me.
Right.
And so it's
Right.
like, wow, because what I saw as a rejection and as a failure, as a fail, wasn't. It was a win for me, and I got into somewhere else with a lot of more money. So thank you, universe. I just went. No, but seriously, I mean, yeah, go ahead, Renee. Everything is.
No, I was about to say, but no, seriously, like, it was a win-win for you.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a fail in no way, shape, form, or fashion. It was everything that you needed. So
Yeah. So keep that in mind, people. When you're out adulting and things don't always go your way, keep that in mind. Anything else you want to share, Renee, with the people?
That's pretty much what I have. Just waiting for more people to get on with their wax self. But that's okay. Even that is part of the retrograde. Even what we are going through with our podcast, with trying to grow it and branch out to people, and being able to maintain responsibilities and jobs. It's a lot of work, and I had to get inspired too, because I mean we're on our 16th episode. We projected for 26.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we said, so we have 10 more weeks to go.
Mm-hmm.
And, it does get a little discouraging when, people, you think you have awesome content. You think you have awesome ideas. You start to look back and reflect, like, okay, what mistakes am I making? Am I not doing enough? Because I know often with Maria, like, I'll be like, oh, girl, I'm going to do this. And then something like else in my life happens. And I get so caught up in that. And then I forget, like, oh, we have this, business that we're trying to get off the ground.
Right.
But there's this girl, Jasmine, I can't think of her name, but I think it's like I Love Jay is what her Instagram name is, and her Facebook page. But she's a Facebook comedian. I mean Instagram comedian. But she's hilarious. I love all the content that she lays out. She's so funny. But she was, Complex had her in for an interview, and a few other people, and we're just like, she was telling the audience and everyone, just keep putting out content.
Just keep doing it.
You have to. Yeah. You have to be consistent and keep putting it out there. And she was just like, eventually people are going to latch on. And for us, people are latching on, just not as rapidly. And I think because part of that is still, it's people that we know. And they're, people that we know ain't going to be too into it. That's just like.
Right, because don't think, I have to say this again live now, because we've said this on the podcast before. Don't think when you start something, t-shirt company, whatever you start, that your friends and family are going to automatically support you, because that's not going to be the case. And like Renee said, if this is something that you want to do, it doesn't matter what it is. For us, we want to do this podcast. If it can be hair care products, it can be whatever. And whether people are pouring in or not, you just got to remember, why am I doing this? And keep it going. So don't get discouraged. I know it may be times where you're like, man, no one's freaking, buying this stuff, or no one's tuning in. But okay, I'm still going to talk. Like, I'm still going to do what I have to do until I get to where I want to be.
Exactly.
So, come on now. Disney World started in a freaking garage. Mickey Mouse, whomever. Okay?
Right.
And look at them now. So, come on. It takes time. You won't be an overnight success. Unlike, like I said, unless Beyonce tweeted about us, then bam, we'll be on.
Okay. That's all we needed. We got to what we need. Hey, no.
But she not hustling,
She not about to. Oh, that's before we get out of here, because I know now we're running over time. But whatever, that's just what we do. No, I'm saying. But to think about with Beyonce, where she said if she was to post about us, we go like insanely popular just one day. There was a lady, skincare genie. Like, some
Mm.
people knew about her. She was selling skincare products, just kind of on the, I think she had like, I don't know. I was already following her because like, I love to follow people who have all these skincare products. I like trying different things. I'm a product junkie. And so she, what did she do? She was going to, astrology. I mean, she's going to, I can't pronounce it, but she's going to school to be come on, help me with the word.
Ew.
It's when you are able to like sterilize people or to
Oh,
give
put
them
people
like a
to
little,
sleep or whatever.
yeah.
Forgot what she's called. Anesthetic person.
Anyways, it's some anesthesiologist. That's what it is. All right, so that's what she's going to school for, and she had a GoFundMe up and trying to pay for her schooling. Chrissy,
From Love
not
of Basketball Wives?
not Chrissy. What's John Legend's wife name?
I
Isn't
do
it
not
Chrissy
know. I
something?
don't know.
Anyways, John Legend's wife, which I hate to just like put her at that status as just his wife because I know she's more than that. She's an awesome woman, but she paid off homegirls tuition, and from there like so many people follow her, so many people started paying attention to her just off of that. So our time may come. No.
But until then, we ain't stopping. So
Exactly. Until then, we're not. So
deal with us.
that is the end of this week's show. Hopefully, we gave you plenty of tea about the retrograde and how to not let it ruin your life because it is ruining my life and many other
And
people
I don't have
around
a
me.
phone.
So please, please, please do not forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Adult Tea. Please do not forget to go to our Facebook page and to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Adult Tea. Please don't forget to check out our website. This podcast will go on tonight. This podcast that we did tonight will go on our website, and it will also go onto our SoundCloud account. Although we're not, we still have our SoundCloud. We're still trying to get on iTunes and everything. That's still in the works. But with our SoundCloud account, all the older shows, you will not be able to see them. They would just only be on our web page, which the rest of them should be going up tonight with this episode. So
Yep.
please, please, please continue to follow us, show us love. Let us know that you're out there and that you're listening. And we're going to keep, like Maria said, talking to y'all until you listen. So,
Right.
all right, signing off. Thanks, you guys.